Thank you, Sonia. It's good to hear that your two kids are in crypto. But look, why does Web 3.0 matter to all of you in this room? And I promise you, 3-4 years from today, the room of this size will be probably 10 times the size that we have today. But look, as of right now, there's $1.1 trillion worth of crypto capital sitting in wallets in thin air. And the future of Web3 is how do we connect that value into the physical world. And I promise you, by the end of the 45 minutes here, every one of you will be a little bit smarter talking about buzzwords like metaverse, NFTs, and every other word that you will hear today. But just to set the stage, I'm going to share a quick video to remind us of what we said in 1995. With some voice.
More than a modem, a phone line, and a few dollars a month.
Oh, that's
that little mark with the A and then the ring around it?
At?
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it.
Around.
I'd never heard it said. I'd always seen the mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
Just what is this main artery of the information superhighway?
Every business, no matter how large, and no matter how small, will be on the internet in the year 2000. It's the primary way that people will look up information. It will replace the yellow pages as we know it today.
Are a lot of people just getting on to the internet because they feel that they have to get onto the playing field, so to speak?
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
There it is. Violence at NBC, GE.com. I mean...
Look, that was 1995. And quick question, your digital identity today is your email address. And I won't ask you to put your hands up because I know every single one of you have an email address. But I will ask you, how many of you have a crypto wallet? If you could put your hand up. So if you just look around the room, I said 3 would be the number today. There's 4 of you. The future identity is going to be your crypto wallet, your private key, and your avatar. And when that question gets asked in the future, again, going 3, 4, 5 years out, like you just heard Eric Schmidt, Bill Gates talk about the internet, every single one of you will own a crypto wallet, and therefore NFTs, the metaverse, will become a mainstream conversation. To quickly give you, Web 1 was all about read, as you can see. Web 2 was read and write. And Web 3 is read, write, and own. And own is the key part that will change the way we take digital and physical ownership and how they merge together. What does it actually mean? For me, the beauty of Web 3 is I can share value across the supply chain with truth, trust, and transparency. And blockchain will underpin and remove the famous word middlemen from a transaction to allow your end customer to enjoy the benefits that many people do in the supply chain. So without further ado, I want to bring on stage Mo and Amedeo, and we're going to sit down and talk to you about Web3. So Amedeo, a little bit about you.
So,
who are you?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Amedeo Guffanti. I'm managing director of Jakala. Jakala is an Italian-based company that is working 20 years in digitalization. So we started back in 2003 with search engines, and today we are approximately 1,800 people worldwide in 26 countries, supporting a lot of great customers, among which we can count quite a few chains of hotels from Roccoforte worldwide to Ferragamo Collection hotels and Italian Hospitality Collections and a few others. So thank you, Nimesh, for inviting us today to speak.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. First of all, I would like to thank Jonathan and the team for this amazing event, for you guys being here. It's great to have the community all together, gathered in this amazing venue. I'm Belkhodja. I'm heading investment special projects at Khaimah Tourism Development Authority, Khaimah of the Emirates and the United Arab Emirates. And we're really glad to discuss Web3 with Nimesh and Amedeo here, as it's really the future. It's happening now. And we know more about it than what we think we know about. And we'll talk more about it later on. Thank you.
So look, can you hear me? No, yes, yeah. So I'm going to be interactive here. We've rehearsed this. I'm going to ask a question. Amedeo and Mo will ask a question, and then we're going to turn to you as an audience to ask questions, so we're all involved. So my first question over to you, Amedeo, is what does the metaverse mean to you? You're a father of 4 kids, and where do you see the future going?
I mean, first of all, the real concept that metaverse is now. So basically, it already exists. The size is huge. You mentioned the amount of money that are sitting in crypto. In reality, metaverse is the evolution of the web. So if you look at the last 20 years, the web was born with the modem, with plain text, images. Then the connections became better, and we start having a lot of richer content, videos. The last 5 years have been all about video. Now, when you land in Riyadh, you see that the first advertising that you can see is 5G. With the improvement of the connections, we're going to have a world with a richer experience. Metaverse is just a definition to say that there is a richer experience on the web that is bringing full experience, from virtual reality to basically the possibility of, with richer experience, owning part of it. And that's where the web evolving again. So for me, metaverse is just the wave of the internet that we are living. And if you think that this is not going to be big, then you are at the same level of the people that thought that Facebook would have been a small website, because that stuff has become a second internet. Metaverse is basically the evolution.
Thank you, Amedeo. Mo, over to you.
Thank you, Amedeo. Thank you, Nimesh. To add to Amedeo, he summarized it in a very brief and straightforward way. So what does it mean for the B2B, actually, enterprises? It means that now they can future-proof their customer engagement strategies, because the customer chooses what specific experience venue they prefer. And let's take Neom as an example. Neom, it's a giga project. People are really trying to understand what would be the experience behind it. What are we going to experience? We see snow, we see mountains, we see a lot of stuff. Today, if we think about it together as a community, if we took Neom, build it on the metaverse, actually, immerse the clients beforehand in the metaverse, it will allow Neom as an organization to tailor-make the experiences based on the real, actual reactions of the visitors. They're not going to wait till it gets completed, till it gets finalized, or work on a visitor experience from a theoretical perspective. So the immersion in the metaverse, the immersive part of the visitor's experience, this will really help grow and move projects much faster in a way that will really makes more sense from a financial perspective, economically, and from an exposure perspective. And this is how we're going to spread it faster all over the world and make people know about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Middle Eastern region, and etc.
Okay, so Amedeo, over to you.
Let me just ask you a question, Nimesh, because I think that in the room we touch keywords that not necessarily are 100% straight to all of us. No? For example, we talk about crypto. Crypto is just an application of the blockchain as a technology, and you would see all over in fashion, as in hotellerie, basically the word NFT, not fungible token. Just to give you an idea, we said that there is $1.1 trillion in crypto. In 2021, has been exchanged $41 billion value in NFT. The point is that in 2022, there's not going to be 80, but probably 200 to 300 millions US dollar exchanging NFT. So can you just drive us through the differences between what is a crypto, what is an NFT, and maybe letting us understand how to put basically a definition to all of this?
Yeah, a correction, 200-300 billion, not million.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, just to contextualize that, last year, people like us, or 3 of us in this room, 4 of us, contributed towards $42 billion worth of real money to buy digital assets. And some of those examples you hear on the press about metaverse, Web3, apes, Basie, etc. This year, roughly 200-300 billion will be spent on mainly digital assets. And then what does non-fungible tokens actually mean? So there's 2 types of tokens before we go to non-fungible. One is a security and one is a utility. A utility is effectively where I think all of the innovation is really being built right now because of the ease of being able to not just use the technology but support a project. But I'll talk to you as an entrepreneur, and I was just saying this outside in the room to somebody. We always say as entrepreneurs we want smart money from our investors, and that smart money needs to be aligned to our vision or our project. And I've done 2 IPOs, and I can promise you every time I've said that, when an investor's been in front of me and offered millions to invest, the conversation of smart money seems to come down the food chain, and it's about how quickly we can close. With $1.1 trillion worth of capital sitting with your customers today, you can bring any physical project to life to access smart money in hours. Many projects in the NFT world are raising anywhere from 10 to 400 million on digital projects. Imagine what's going to happen when you can bring physical assets into that conversation. So for me, the power of non-fungible tokens from a utility perspective is aligning capital to your vision, bringing a community that will allow you to bring the hotel industry or the hospitality industry into Web3.
And to add to Nimesh's point, the values that come with it from a sustainability perspective, from the human capital aspect, and you're really democratizing the ownership. Who doesn't want to own a fraction of a property or belong to a specific kind of brand, or be able to feel the recognition and the community element? With the hotelNFT concept, this would become possible to a larger audience. If we only take millennials and Gen Z, which represent 48% of the current population, who are today already connected so well with the Fortnite, with all these PlayStation games, and you name it, the PUBG, etc. So all of you guys know already the metaverse. The kids, when they're playing on Fortnite is kind of a metaverse. Now what we're doing is just make, not even regulating it, it's just taking advantage of it in a more efficient and productive way, whether it's for the current generations, the kids, or the future generations, and to make the economic scalability of whatever project that would really give you a much bigger horizon when it comes to recognition, when it comes to profitability, and of course the community aspect, which is key. Without community, there is no metaverse.
I think the other one point I would add to non-fungible tokens is liquidity. You know, timeshares today are illiquid. They're very hard to transfer one ownership to another. If you think of fractional ownership through non-fungible tokens in the hospitality industry and the amount of money and funding that's required to fund these amazing projects and bring sustainability into hospitality, then non-fungible tokens and fractional ownership are going to be the future of your industry.
So thank you. You touch, both of you, 2 very important concepts. One is sustainability, and the other one is community. Because at the end of the day, most of the people think that this is about tech. This is not about tech. It's about investments, for sure, because it's very liquid. That's the reason for which all of us are here. And then it's about community, because as it was for social media, in reality, all the big waves of the NFTs, whether it is art or bored apes or any of the big ways that most of us can think are bubbles, no? You say overvalued assets. In reality, they were saying the same about Bitcoin or the same about Ethereum. But the point is there is a huge community behind it that is not like young people with few tens of dollars, talking about millions, billions, trillions. So in reality, what is moving them is not the tech behind it. Are a few key concepts: sustainability and community, and feeling of belongings is something that you should consider into that. So, and this, according to me, is bringing to the next level. It is the experience.
Yeah. Mo, over to you.
This is a great transition actually from hotel aspect, and this is why we're here actually to understand how we can link this parallel world to the hospitality industry actually. I think Nimesh will shed the light from the hotel NFT. What would it look like and how to get immersed into it actually?
Yeah, look, I'll backtrack. With Alan, we were talking about this. Airbnb didn't replace the hotel industry. It created a completely new category of hospitality. There are more hotels being built today. There's going to be more keys in the world in 10 years today. But Airbnb created a completely new category for travel and tourism. When we think of decentralized hospitality in the future, there will be one or many brands that will bring fractional ownership to the hospitality industry and directly impact how hotels are going to be built in the future around community, technology, and capital. So hotelNFT is the world's first premium platform, launching the first hotel in London, which will be 5-star, roughly 46 keys, of a sustainable hotel that's keyless, powered by a community of that 1.1 trillion sitting in there, and will roughly raise 25 million pounds to upgrade an existing 5-star boutique hotel in London. And we've defined the category as you might not be able to see as decentralized autonomous hotel, DA. And we will be looking for projects all across the world to connect key stakeholders. We bring brands, operators, collectors and travelers into one platform to own a future of 5-star hotels that are sustainable and keyless, and ultimately bringing, like Airbnb, a completely new category to hospitality.
To add actually to Nimesh's point, the fractional shareholder ownership business model exists already in the real estate business. So us as tourism and hospitality community, why it's about just translating it to the hospitality industry, which makes sense. And it has some rules. It's not about getting, it has to be a specific type of brand, specific type of community, but then the scalability of it is very profitable. And this is what this project would be aiming for, actually.
Yeah, and going to Amedeo's point, look, the technology, I use my mum as the stress test. My mum will change brand loyalty for faster, better, and cheaper, right? Cheaper doesn't mean the end price point. Cheaper could be getting to achieve something cheaper. So disruption is when something is faster, better, and cheaper. I can raise money faster than going to a bank. I can raise money that's aligned to a vision, and I can deliver an experience ultimately to that community. And in hotelNFT's case, I talk about happy planet, happy people. I've spent the last day here, an amazing event, and 3 things I walked away with: funding, community, and sustainability. And the sign of doing the same thing is the sign of insanity. If we are really going to accelerate to some of these initiatives, and get to the goals that we're defining, then a new category will emerge, a new platform will emerge, no different to Airbnb for hotel and Uber did for transportation. And that's ultimately what we are bringing to the world with hotelNFT. Oops.
Nimesh, can you explain us a bit better behind hotelNFTs? I think it's easier for everybody if you explain what's the plan. No? So the plan is when we first met, you explained me that you're not tokenizing only a room, but you're tokenizing a room and you associate the room to the days of the calendar, for example. Yeah. I think it's beneficial for everybody if you dig that a bit more.
Yeah, so look, hotelNFT does the following, and then I'll Amedeo break into you. We look for a hotel, whether it's an existing hotel or a completely new hotel that needs to be built. We then put a digitization plan. We take as much of the data and the experience into the cloud. So in the London hotel, we're taking all the energy in the cloud to measure in real time sustainability. So we're talking air, energy, air, light, and electricity. And then the fourth step is we tokenize the asset. And this is how we raise the capital. So in this case, we take 46 rooms times by 365 days in the year. That is your unique NFT collection if you take each one on its own. But because this is a London hotel, it's very close to Chelsea Flower Show, it's very close to Royal Ascot, Wimbledon. We then create packs, NFT collections. So you can own Valentine's weekend, summer months. You can own different packs of the hotel, which is like owning the season ticket of a football club, right? The football club still owns the stadium, but the seat that you sit on in every game, depending on who your team that you support, is your season ticket. So in hotelNFT, the room that you buy for Valentine's weekend or Wimbledon is your hotel room for that period of time. You can use it as a discount every year. You can re-rent it on our platform like you do with Airbnb. You can trade, it's liquid, so you can instantly trade out, or you can gift it to a friend if you wanted to. And in our case, we're bringing many brand partners together who, in this case, Chelsea Football Club, have season ticket holders that live abroad and travel into the city and need to effectively use the hotel for their period. So the art and the science here is 1.1 trillion sitting in wallets in the cloud, desperate to find a physical use case or a physical investment into the real world, and we're using hospitality to bring sustainability and technology as a keyless experience to those users. And you know, ultimately, I believe the following will happen. We will probably have the best, not just the best experience, the best sustainability, but as an operator, you know, having a community that are loyal to your brand, depending on which brand you are in what location, I think will increase your margin and increase your profitability as well.
And to add to Nimesh's point, when you talk about community, if you look at the project, it started with Chelsea. Chelsea by itself has a massive community. So you're building something, the project essence is the community. Let's take another operator, lifestyle brand, Earth Hotels. Earth Hotels has its own brand DNA. It has a community around it. Then you move it. With whatever lifestyle project, brand actually, operator, this is how you build around it the full ecosystem. And at the end, we talk about metaverse. Metaverse is a place that we are building together as a community to coexist together. And to coexist in, actually. And from there, you take it, you scale it, and you take it to a different level.
Yeah, look, the capital and the community is just going to keep growing, right? If you take Bill Gates and Eric Schmidt's view in 1995 of the internet and take a leap of faith that everybody will own a wallet and everybody will own some type of cryptocurrency, we are talking less than 1% of the population today at 1.1 trillion. What is that value going to be in 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time? And which brands are going to bring it into the physical world?
But I think it's even more than that. No? Let's make a concrete example, because I think that it's a bit easier to be understood. No? I come from Italy, as you can probably spot from the accent. So let's say Florence. I think most of you know Florence. Maybe some of you has been there. So it's San Valentine, 14th of February.
You should have said Venice. That's better for that. Okay, go on.
Venice as well, fine. Just to change a bit. No? So it's Venice as well, actually, and could be very romantic city. And how much is worth in the Grand Hotel of Venice, in San Marco Square? It is the main square of Venice, very famous one, the one with all the pigeons around. How much is worth to have the NFT of the best suite of that hotel for the San Valentine Day? And how much is worth today, and how much is worth that suite NFT in that day in 5 years from now, when everybody is going to use more NFTs and so on? So there is a market for NFT standalone that is the value that the entire world will give to that NFTs, and there is then the value to re-rent it, share it. Why is it important for the hotel? First of all, because it has another asset that can be sold and tradable, but also because you can predict better loading time. You can predict demand. You start creating new experiences that are related to the digital. Let's say that hotel in Venice decides to have a deal with Gucci or Prada, to be sure that the owner of the NFT of the hotel in that specific room can also have fantastic gifting for the companion, for example. No? Whatever it is, that creates a new stream of revenues for the hotels, and it gives you the opportunity to build up also marketing activities around that. Let's switch and go to Dubai. How much is worth the room in the Armani Hotel, the NFT of the room in the Armani Hotel after we have an Avengers movie that is touching that room? That is, or Mission Impossible that was actually played there, for example.
Armani next to Burj Khalifa at the bottom of Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Yeah.
So that's how you start thinking at your asset. It's not anymore, Hilton was used to say that the hotel is all about location. I think the definition of location is changing. Yeah. So it creates a huge amount of other opportunity if you start thinking that a bit above the real estate opportunity and what has been hospitality so far. No? It's create a completely different world of experience.
Yeah. So, questions from anybody?
Nimesh, so just give us those numbers. So there are 46 keys at the London Hotel.
Yep.
And 365 days. So that's, I think, what you mentioned the figure, about 17,000.
Correct. Yep.
NFTs to sell.
Yeah, and then
sell them in batches. So
we package them up into themes, so basically. Yeah.
It might be 2 or 3 nights per consumer.
Yep. So your community will be a few thousand people that own the hotel. Yeah. So you already have. So once you've sold the NFT collection to the buyers, they own. Your hotel then has a built-in community of, in this case, let's just use 2,500 guests. Those guests are your mouthpiece. Those guests are either going to be using that hotel annually themselves, or renting it on the platform to other community members, or gifting it to family and friends, or corporate. If you're a corporate account, in this case Chelsea Football Club, you'll be gifting it to fans.
So they're your ambassadors. And then
correct.
As you start scaling Hotel NFT to other parts of the world, you're getting groups of 3,000 from a different community.
Different, yeah. Or collections around, yeah. So if I own Chelsea Valentine's weekend, coming back to Amedeo's point, I could exchange that for Valentine's in Venice or in Shanghai, or I want to do a summer break, or you know what, I've had it 4 years, I bought it for £2,500, it's now worth 6, I need to be liquid. Within hours I can trade that like a share on a stock exchange on Hotel NFT platform and cash in the bank. And as an operator or the hotel owner, you know instantly who the next guest that you have is part of the community. It will change how you book rooms. You know, your Booking.com, Expedia.com, they are going to be a thing of the past when you think of hotelNFT. Sorry, there's two hands.
Yeah, just to add to Nimesh's point, one last thing. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just re-engineering the mindsets. And this is what makes, again, the scalability of this ecosystem, the metaverse or the hotel NFT, successful for all, the community and us as hospitality experts, actually. We had Sally, please.
Yeah. Question to Amedeo, on the point you were touching. You grabbed our attention with that example, I think, with Tourims. But I want to talk about the value of the NFT, because this is where I struggle to really understand, I think, how will this NFT be controlled? So my question to you is, you said that the value of this NFT is basically open for the demand to assess what is this NFT is worth, basically. And there's no actual valuation behind the price of that room, or what is it based on? Isn't that creating a lot of volatile environment for the hotel owner or even the operator? And how do you think this risk can be managed? Because whether you're an operator or you're an owner, you want to have some sort of control over the value of this hotel room, the NFT of that hotel room, right? So how do you manage that
what
risk?
backs it up, actually?
Yeah, it's actually the opposite. Sorry, Alan, if you don't mind, and Amedeo. It's actually the opposite. Okay. Currently in crypto, there's no tangible asset that's tied to it. So as we know, the last month crypto has gone from 2 trillion to 1.1 trillion. But when you engineer that to an asset, and economics, which is demand is based on availability, you know, your same principles that you build a hotel booking engine today, those principles aren't removed. We've just created liquidity and different ownership structures. So actually, the same stability that you have today in your pricing structure will probably be greater on a hotel NFT structure, because you have an underlying community that value it, right? Alan asked me with complete disbelief, like, why is there 1.1 trillion of value sitting in the air? Like, your answer was how? What? Well, that's without tangible assets tied to it. What happens when we do tie a tangible asset to it? The facts and the economics remains just as stable. If anything, you have a premium now because you have a community of believers and brand owners that are your advocates, and it becomes FOMO. You know, our profile of hotel is less than 100 rooms, boutique. We don't want to oversaturate, and we want to bring a completely new experience to hospitality. So the FOMO of getting in, also, you manage supply and demand really well. I think you were sharing with me yesterday how in your region, how you control supply and demand, and my question was to you, what is, so you have to balance.
One question that came from Nimesh. How do you plan the hotel development versus the visitors' arrivals and the visitors' experience? So this is where we make sure that the supply and demand is balanced so that the development would follow. The last thing you want is oversupply, lack of demand, and you have to take care of multiple metrics, economics behind it. To Sally's question, actually, the value of this NFT, who will define it? Is it the community, or is it an AI platform?
Yeah, so I can talk to the first hotel. So we have used traditional economics, valuing the value of the asset, the value of the room rates, and then looking at the general hotel industry in the area. So we define what we call a floor price. So each NFT pack that we sell will be a floor price of X at auction. The minimum floor price has to be met, and then our expectation is in this project, it's going to, because it's the world's first, it's going to be like a ridiculous per pack sale. But as the market matures, it will be no different to taking a traditional project and putting the fundamentals together and then tokenizing the fundamentals. I think what is extremely unique and extremely valuable in the formula that we've designed is the community. I can't underestimate that if you were building a hotel and you had 3,000 people that already owned the entire year, your annual booking rates are going to be better than trying to build a hotel from and not having that. So there's back to 1995, very infancy stage. Hypothesis is clear. We have to prove that out. We will. But I'm pretty certain and pretty confident that our retention rate and booking rate compared to a hotel not on our platform will not just be greater, but our margin per room will be better because we're not paying 35 clicks to Expedia or Booking.com for our inventory that we're desperate to kind of get the numbers that we do.
If I just can add one thing, and then I let you do the question. You need to start thinking that in a different way, no? I give you another practical example because I think that we are eager here to think how to make it happen, no? I proposed to my wife to get married in an hotel room that I remember very well. That moment for me is special. It's a special day in a special location, no? So I made all the standard things with a great engagement ring and all the things, right moment. She accepted. So
she's got 4 kids now. She said yes.
4 kids, so actually was a lucky shot. But the point is that you need to start thinking at experiences that are happening in your hotel as unique moments, maybe for a person specific or for a community. For a person, if there will be the opportunity to buy that day in that room, I will do it because for me has a value, no? The demand and offer side is typical of all the markets. In the hotelNFT, you have a floor and you have a value because each day of the calendar which you can go to the hotel, you have special values to go there. So you have a minimum floor and then there is demand. At this time, we expect the demand to be high because the offer is still limited. So probably, as he was saying, the price is going to be, I would not say ridiculously high, I would say high. Optimized, but basically I would say I really want you to start thinking at the hotel and the experiences that you can create in a different way. Because you don't need to think that as an inventory of rooms is the moments you can relate to that. That is non-tangible for somebody. And on the other side, you may create marketing, you know? So you get Chiara Ferragni or an influencer to have a special moment in your hotels, for example, and in that specific day. So you create the demand for that NFT in that day, also creating this with the marketing. So it's an activity that you need to start thinking with. It gives you more opportunity rather than just selling it. That is the way in which you should start thinking at it. And I can stay here and take out ideas for the next 2 months, but the point is there is a market and you have to try to exploit it.
Yeah. Think emotions, please.
Yeah. Please.
So I understand how you sell rooms and using these NFTs, and I get that whole part. What about so you're taking over a boutique hotel.
Yep.
You need to refit it out and
yep.
whatever, CapEx as well.
24 million,
yeah. Yeah, that 24 million.
It's funded by our NFTs.
Okay, explain me that part.
Because we've calculated the rooms, the floor price, and the purchase of the hotel, and the entire non-fungible token sale proceeds. Correct, yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are buying the hotel and upgrading the hotel on zero interest. It's owned by our community. We still own the asset, so it's a utility, right? So we're giving the value to you as the NFT holder, but the asset is still owned by the platform. So you own that room like a season, going back to the stadium concept, season ticket, and your memories, your value, everything is owned in there. And therefore, even when the value of that room grows, which it will, after the upgrade, the asset value grows, the room rate grows because now it's keyless and it's sustainable, etc. You own that.
Think of it as a timeshare, actually, in a way.
Yeah.
But it's a much scalable and fractional ownership, actually.
Every single hotel we do will be zero interest, owned by a community, funded, and we will upgrade it.
How would you measure the value of the NFT versus capital gains of the asset?
In terms of the end user, that's their tax. That's a whole new discussion that the world is governments are trying to figure out, yes, because they will have capital gains on that return when they sell it, right? I bought it at 2,000, I sold it at 6. That's your income tax that you have to file in the jurisdiction that you are. That's not something we have a say on, but that is the governments around the world are trying to solve. Listen, the internet hasn't solved many of those problems today, never mind the next evolution.
To Nimesh's point, think of it as an ecosystem. It's not about just making the price. You're buying emotions. Re-engineering the mindset is the key element, actually, with the community to be aligned and to move the same direction in order to be able to make it profitable and financially scalable, actually.
So did that clear up the mist a little bit? Yeah, it's yeah.
It's genuinely hard to get your head around. So I buy it.
You bought Valentine's weekend in Chelsea, yeah?
Which then allows you to go and invest the 24 million that our community has generated.
Because you want to build that experience,
that and you've sold me the NFT because you've shown me the vision in some sort of metaverse.
And you become an
somewhere.
owner of it.
Yeah. And I then own Valentine's weekends or FA Cup final day, whatever it is, as a season ticket holder.
Yeah.
You then give me the marketing and audience plus my word of mouth and so on and so forth to sell that room.
Like any hotel would.
Valentine's
Correct.
Day at whatever price we can.
And you get a discount to use it on the years that you do it, correct? And then you get other benefits. So think of the game theory here. We're talking to many luxury brands right now are saying, okay, you actually have somebody that owns Valentine's weekend in Chelsea. If you scale that for Gucci, Versace, all these brands, they want to deliver NFTs back to your wallet as value back to you. So you're not just going to accrue the value of the NFT itself. Your fringe benefits that come are going to be massive because brands spend trillions to find customers, right?
So those are your loyalty card partners.
There's your loyalty, there you go.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other game theory that's coming into our modeling that the margin of our hotels will be far greater per room than anyone's ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan?
Yeah, so
sorry, this.
You've raised
24 million.
Yeah.
Sorry, you've raised the 24 million in NFTs. What guarantees do you have now that you want to refurbish your hotel? You have a supplier that's going to accept that form of currency to be able to do that.
No, that's fiat. We pay in cash. We accept in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and fiat, and we actually pay out in real money.
So you pay out in real?
Yeah, we have a bank. So we're banking in Switzerland.
But doesn't that devalue the NFT? Because the whole premise is you being able to use it in multiple platforms.
Yeah, great question. When you buy the NFT, that is a token that's separate from the money that you've paid. You own that smart contract and that non-fungible token for that physical asset. You've just paid us, like an e-commerce transaction, you've paid us to use that proceeds to build the product.
And you had the option to pay it either in crypto or in fiat.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. You choose as an owner. Exactly.
Correct. And think of the NFT as your product you're receiving, and you've just paid us the floor price at auction to buy it.
And then you can sell it in crypto or...
And now you own it to use, rent, or gift, or trade.
Scale it.
So, how does the rental piece work?
The timeshare element.
The timeshare element?
Yeah, so
you'll just go to our site, so our members will effectively be able to... You will say, we're setting the smart contract up as we speak. We've done a lot of discovery with hotel operators who want to have occupancy rate certainty like 90 days ahead of calendar. So we're figuring all this out. But effectively, if you own it, you book it ahead of time, confirm your confirmation. If not, it goes onto our open marketplace for the community to buy. So the end experience from a booking would be no different to how you book a hotel today.
So you basically have two sets of platform, the ownership and then
membership.
The actual
correct.
Use.
Yeah, we think it's going to be 50-50. We think 50% of our members will owners will actually use it or gift it to family, or corporate accounts will use it for their staff, and the other 50 will be new members joining as we scale the brand around the world.
How are you promoting it? So I know where I would go for those first.
There's the expert. Amedeo, that's your cue.
In the marketing.
In reality, you start from the owners of crypto for the simple reason that they understand immediately what we're talking about. And then the marketing of it, again, as you can buy in fiat currencies or US dollar, euro, whatever you want. is more about the concept, no? Is owning a weekend, is what I was saying, no? It's, we will not communicate the technology, is benefit of entering a community. It's like to sell Airbnb as a concept, you did not explain how the platform works, how it is, what you buy. So it's like, you know, you have an extra room and you can rent it. That's easy, no? So that is exactly the point. That's why I keep insisting on how you communicate it, rather than understanding exactly all the mechanism behind. Of course, as hotel owners and operator, you need to understand a bit of the technicalities, but the people will just simply see my weekend in Venice or that special days that I can live again and again whenever I want as a present for your beloved, for example. That is the marketing, no? Then how you do it, you pay me in crypto. If you have crypto, you pay me in US dollar or euro or whatever, fiat currency, if you have it. So it's more the possibility that you don't have today to sell digitally something that for the hotel industry has been just selling rooms, basically, so far.
And we've got to wrap up, but I'll leave you with the following thought, because I know both the stories. Uber was pitching in Germany before they'd started, and there was like only 7-8 people in the room. Nobody believed Uber would ever work, right? Look what Uber is today. If you don't know the Airbnb story, everybody said, you'll never live in a stranger's house. It's never going to work. Yeah. The first 15 months the project was failing. Brian and the team went into New York, camped in the homes and realized their marketing was wrong. They needed professional photographs, etc. And we know the Airbnb story. We are going to face the same rejection of this concept of fractional ownership's never going to work, like we did with www. at the internet. I can give you one certainty: whether hotelNFT is successful or not, a decade from today, millions and billions will go into.
I bet Elon Musk will buy some of the NFTs.
I think so.
As soon as possible.
Yeah. And by the way, just to end it on this point, greenfield is possible too. Here we're talking about reconversion, but it's a greenfield project done the right way with the right brand. Would be an amazing success.
And we're not hotel operators. We literally source, acquire, digitize, tokenize, upgrade, and then back into partnership with
make
the
sure
operator.
that the process is there so that you are confident as an owner, as a hotel brand, to make it a successful journey for both you as an investor and the clients.
Thank you.
Voilà.
Thank you very much.